Hey everybody, Dave D here. Welcome to this live special training all about what we're calling lifeblood, which is lead generation. Without any leads, our business fails regardless of what's going on in the economy. So we are excited about doing this with you here today. You're going to want to take copious notes. First thing that I want to do is to make sure that you guys can absolutely hear and see us. So if you could type the letter Y into the text chat, that would go good. Hey, Ken, thank you. And by the way, Ken, thank you for your nice email that you sent me the other day. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Armando, Terry. Everyone can see and hear us. Fantastic. All right. So just as we're letting people come on here, let me guys know where you guys are calling in from or watching in from, viewing in from, wherever it is. New York City, Joe. Stay safe, brother, man. Pasadena, same thing there. Robert from the UK, Florida, LA. Okay, be careful. Texas, Illinois, all over the place. San Diego. Hey, Woodstock, Georgia. Hey, how you doing, Bobby? Right up the street from me. Don from my hometown of Springfield, Virginia Beach. Cool. Central New York. Feel bad for you guys there. Okay, so now that we know that you guys can see and hear me and that we're going to participate together, today what we're going to be talking about is really what's working now when it comes to generating leads. And we're talking about high quality leads online. And what my special guest and I are going to do is really give you a step-by-step process for doing this, like in great detail. So like I said at the beginning, you're going to definitely want to take copious notes. So if you don't have something to take notes with, get it. I don't care if you take it online or if you use a pen and a pad of paper, whatever you do, though, take notes. Also, don't be surfing the internet. This is a really important training that we're doing. And as I said in the email that I sent today, this is actually a real training. I'm not even following my one-to-many sales template that most of you know. At the end, we'll be talking very briefly about something that we offer. It's a very, very small boutique service for people who are interested in having us do some work for them. But that's really not what this is about. This is about to get you on the right track for generating leads, because there's a lot of misinformation that's being propagated out there, a lot of old information, and the truth is things have changed with what's going on in the world right now. And so we have to adapt to those changes, and the same shit that we've been taught while it may have worked in the past is not working anymore, but people are still regurgitating the same stuff. So this is really for you if you want to generate a steady flow of high quality leads online so you can keep your business moving forward. And if that sounds good to you, what we're going to talk about here today, type a Y into the text chat to let me know that you are with me here. Just type a Y into the text chat. Robert Cliff says yes. Don says yes. Chet, Denise, yes, with Armando. Awesome. Okay, fantastic, you guys. Yeah, and so the reason I'm going to ask you to participate here today is honestly so you stay engaged. I mean, if we can't make enough effort to type a Y into the chat, then what we're going to tell you is probably not going to be for you. Now, I just want to make this very clear who this specific training is for today. This is for if you sell professional services of any kind. So if you are a financial advisor, if you are an estate planning attorney, if you're an attorney, those kind of folks, if you're a consultant, anything like that, this is what this training is all about. And it's for you if you are going to keep marketing your business, right, despite what's going on in the world today. So, and by the way, I've talked to a lot of people in a lot of different industries, a lot of the quote gurus, and it was interesting conversations I've had with them. There are some folks that are really kicking ass, and there's other folks that aren't doing as well. Now, for example, if you're a dentist or something like that, obviously this is really, really impacting you. But if you're in an industry where you don't have to meet with them face to face and you can figure it out, then you still should be generating leads. So that's what we're going to talk about. And so let me give a brief introduction to my guest, and so we can get started with this right away. My special guest is Sam Bart, And I met Sam. I'm in a mastermind program with a good friend of mine, Perry Marshall. Some of you guys know who Perry is. And I was like, hey, Perry, I know how to write ad copy and things like that, but I don't know the technical parts of generating leads online. And if you've been with me for a while, you know that I tell you that I'm not the lead generation guru. That's why I'm bringing Sam on. And he said, well, here's a guy who's been working with me. You should talk to him. And so I talked to Sam, and even though he looks like he's 12 years old, he's almost 12 years old. No, but he's a super smart guy. And so we've hired him to work on the Dave D business, and he's done a really, really great job. And then Sam actually came to a meeting that I had here. It was a little workshop that we did in Atlanta. And he talked to a number of folks who were at the workshop. They started working with him, started getting good results. And so Sam and I decided to join forces here. I started another small division of the company. It's called More Leads Division. And again, this is not our primary thing. We're not a big agency or anything like that. But Sam is really, we call it a boutique thing. We take very few clients. But Sam is the executive director of that. And so let me bring on Sam. Sam, welcome. Turn on your camera, turn on your microphone so everybody can see you. And here he is. Hey.
All right. Hey, Dave. Thanks for
Okay.
having me.
Okay, let's make Sam feel welcome, you guys. So everyone's type into the text chat, hey Sam, or hi Sam, to make him feel welcome, because he's not used to being on these things. This is not what he does. He's a behind the scenes kind of guy. So good. Look at that, man. Everybody, howdy Sam. You're getting a bunch of Sams.
Why did you hire a 12-year-old?
Yeah, there we go. Ciao, Sam.
That's why.
So, all right. So, Sam, thanks for doing this with us today. It's interesting because I do so much selling on webinars. I think people are a little skeptical, like, well, do they got a program or something like that they're going to sell? We really don't. I talked to you and I said I wanted to do this as a service to folks who were interested, so they could get really what's working now. So let's go over what we're going to talk about. The first thing, Sam, I want to talk about with you is changes that have happened since this whole pandemic has happened, because there are definite changes in lead generation. So we're going to talk about those and what you need to do and what you need to stop doing, at least temporarily, so you can conserve money and get better results. Second, we're going to talk about some fundamental strategies that you need to have in place if you're going to continue to generate leads and turn those leads into customers, clients, or patients. And then we're going to talk about the nitty-gritty details, and I'm talking the nitty-gritty details about how to get this actually going, how to set up the machine, turn on the machine. And the truth is, we could have sold this training, but I wanted to gift it to everybody, and Sam was kind enough to use his time to do it here. And then, as I mentioned at the very end, we'll mention briefly the boutique service that we have, and there's a long list of criteria. And that if you still you're interested, then we'll tell you how you can set up a time to talk to Sam about it, all right? But here's the deal. This is live. If you have questions, please ask the questions. Sam and I will stay on until your questions are answered. Now, please note that there is a Q&A section. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see where it says chat and Q&A. It would be best, so I can keep the questions organized, if you ask the questions in the Q&A. What I don't want you to do is leave this training with questions, because I'm doing this as a gift to everybody, and Sam's doing it as a gift. So I'm not going to be fielding questions afterward via email, and Sam can't do that either. Okay, so ask your questions here. That's why we're doing it live. Okay, Sam, let's get into this. So as I've been talking about, and as you and I've talked about privately, really things have changed not only in the world, but when it comes to marketing. And yet a lot of the marketing, quote, gurus out there, and as I tell everybody, I definitely don't consider myself to be a guru. I consider myself to be a businessman who runs a business and shares information with folks that I know work. But they're still teaching really antiquated methods. And a lot of those methods are lengthening the time between when they get a lead and when the sale is actually made. So for example, and and I taught this, but I'm not teaching it right now, and that's to create a shock and awe box, right?
Right.
Still people out there teaching that, you get a lead and you mail them something in the mail and all of that. Talk a little bit, let's speak to that a little bit and why that is deadly right now.
Sure. Well, in today's world, despite just the crisis that's going on, people's attention spans are shorter and shorter than they've ever been. It matters a lot more now to just get somebody's attention than to try to get them to seriously take a lot of time to go through a whole shock and awe package or anything like that. If you can get somebody interested, with just a small, amount of text, if you can get somebody to at least pay attention to you, well, then you can qualify them and then, devote a lot more time and energy into trying to engage with them.
Yeah, exactly. And also, what's happening is because people are constantly glued to the news, and hopefully the folks watching this are not, they're not being obsessed with it because that's not good for your psyche, that's not good for your business, but that's a whole other topic. Is what's happening with people is that first of all, they're making decisions and then they're changing them really quickly, right? So they say, yeah, I want to do this, but they're searching, right? They're searching but they want answers and they want answers quickly. They want answers now. So the days of, at least for right now, the days of saying, okay, here, give me your contact information, and then I'm going to send you this thing in the mail, or I'm going to put you through this long thing before you get to talk to
Right.
me. Um, it really is not working right now. Okay, so now in a minute we're going to talk about specific details about what you should be doing to generate leads online. But I want to just go over one thing, Sam, with everybody that is the first thing that they should do. The first thing that everyone should do, every business owner who's on here right now, I don't care what your business is, the first thing that you should do, and that is to generate leads inside of your own list. So most people don't think about this. It was interesting. I was having a conversation with a private client, and we're actually doing this big launch. And by the way, this private client works with chiropractors, and you're like, "There's no way." No, he's figured it out, and it's going to really something that's going to help chiros. But he said to me, "It's interesting that chiropractors, and it's the true with most businesses, they're always going after the new business, trying to generate new leads." Right? Which is fine, right? Which you have to generate new leads. But you guys, the place to start is inside of your own list. What can you create? What do you already have that you can sell to your own customer base and generate a lead inside your own customer base? So lead generation inside of your own list is important. Sam, talk a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, people that you've already done business with, they already should know you, like you, and trust you, right? So not only that, but the process by which you have to acquire new customers is longer than it takes to just get somebody who was or is your previous customer to buy from you again. And in times like this, where, the economy is slowing down, it's more important than ever that you shorten the time from somebody first hearing about you to, giving you money.
Yeah. So the first thing that everyone should do before we get into the sexier stuff that we're going to be talking about is figure out an offer to make to your own list and lead generate inside your own list. Right. So again, this may take some creativity on your part, or maybe you already have something, and then deliver a really, really nice message and set up consultations or meetings virtually, obviously, inside of your own list, or create an offer and sell it to them, right? That's where everybody should start, right? And by the way, when we get into the details about the machine that we're going to be creating here today, or sharing with you, teaching you how to create, you're going to need your own list anyway, right? So now's the time to go look at your list, create an offer for your list, contact your list, email your list, retarget your list on Facebook, which Sam's going to talk about, and actually do that. So Sam, it was interesting. That's what you did. One of the major things that you've been doing for me. So we've been doing these webinars and ones that were actually selling something. And you've taken my list of customers, right, and leads, and explain just what you've done just with my list, right? Not generating new people,
Right.
but rather the folks that I already have who were on my list, but maybe not active, or maybe were active, meaning opening my emails and things like that. This is golden information, you guys. Golden. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that, Sam?
Yeah. So, there's a lot of people that have, been customers of Dave's, for years, maybe bought something in 2010. Well, I took his whole database basically of people that have bought something from him or were just leads for as long as he's had his current CRM, and we uploaded them to Facebook and told Facebook that we want to specifically target these people with ads, taking them to register for this webinar, where he, would sell something. So the thing is that a lot of those people, maybe they just, aren't getting his emails or whatever. And not only that, but there's lots of emails going out. So you want to stand out by showing up in as many places as possible, because attention is the currency in the modern age. Everybody is, like I said, attention spans are out the window. It's like a goldfish now. It's like 7 seconds or less. If you can show up in as many places as possible, both to your, current and previous customers and new people, you are going to have longer lasting success in today's day and age.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the first step is to obviously email your list, but the second step is to take, and so what we're not going to do on this training, just to be clear for everybody, we're not going to get into the technical details of it, because there's a bazillion and one training videos. Facebook will show you how to do it. What we want to do is let you know what you should do. So take your list, you're going to upload it to Facebook, and then you basically say, hey, I want to show my particular ad. And Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I'm not. My particular ad to these people who already know me. All right. So now you're getting them by email. And what was exciting for me, Sam, is that not only did we get people to register, we got people to re-engage who maybe had not been re-engaged because they weren't reading my emails or they weren't getting emails. Now they're re-engaged.
Yeah, we sold programs to people that haven't bought since 2010.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So again, so you just download your list, right? Then you upload it to Facebook. And again, and what's the tech? So if someone wanted to look up a video, Sam, what is it called that they would have to look up to how to do that?
So you specifically need to Google how to upload a custom audience to Facebook.
Okay. So that's all you got to do. By the way, it's not hard. This is not hard. Okay. So how to upload a custom audience to Facebook, right? That's what you're going to look up. Okay. So that's the first thing everybody should do. First thing is just email your list for sure. I mean, cost you nothing. Do it. Do it today. Do it after this training. The next thing is let's talk about, the next step is then to upload the list to Facebook, okay? And tell Facebook, hey, create an ad. I want to show the ad to these particular people. The next thing is to, let's talk about, Sam, the system. Now, we've given them the basic easy piece, but now let's talk about the machine that's going to help them generate new leads. First of all, before we get into the actual system, let's talk about who it's really good for and who this will work best for.
Sure.
And let me just remind people, if you've got questions, do not ask them in the chat. Please ask them in the Q&A. Okay, there's a Q&A section. That's the place to ask those questions. Okay, so Sam, who's this going to work best for?
Well, this is going to work best for somebody that at least has, a spreadsheet of leads and or previous customers. And there's a big reason for that. And it's that having information gives you an advantage in today's advertising world. If you have data on previous customers and or leads, you are going to have a much easier time generating new leads and new sales, because Facebook runs off of knowing who to show ads to. You actually can help it become smarter at helping you get better leads and more sales. So if you have a spreadsheet of at least 50, or at least 50, no less, you got to have at least 50 leads or 50 previous customers. And honestly, the more you have, the better. If you have hundreds, if you have 200, 400, 500, you're going to have more of an advantage, because Facebook can optimize who it shows ads to based on how much data you're giving it. So if you have 500 previous customers, Facebook will be a lot smarter for you than if you only have 50. So that's
Okay.
one big criteria that this is going to help that kind of person.
Okay. What other is there any other like mission critical criteria that someone really needs to have in order to make this particular system that we're going to go over here today work?
Well, especially in the current climate, with the coronavirus going on, and like the economic, tide shifting and all that, you need to be focused on selling what people need versus what just they want. And this is related, but another big qualifying factor for you for this system to work is that you have to have a hungry crowd. You have to have customers that really, really want what you have to sell.
Yeah, or you've got to frame it so that they really want it, right?
Yep.
And so yeah, so it's interesting that you say that. This really goes back to advice that Gary Halbert, the legendary Gary Halbert, talked about, and where he asked an audience one time, and it's famous now. You probably heard it, but it's worth hearing again. He asked an audience, so if I was to open up a hamburger stand, what would you want as your competitive advantage? And one person in the audience said, well, I want the best burger. I'd want secret sauce. Another person said, well, I'd like a really great location. And Halbert said, no, I'll beat you all by simply, what I want is I want a hungry crowd.
Yes.
Because nothing else matters. If I've got a hungry crowd, it doesn't matter what my burger is, what my secret sauce is, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for. So you either need to, guys, have a hungry crowd, all right, or frame what you're doing so they realize that they're hungry for it. I mean, that's marketing, that's selling, right? So, but also what are you saying? You've got to make this a need, something that they actually need right now, not something that maybe they just want. Now, the other thing, Sam, is because we're going to be talking primarily here about Facebook, is that they've got to be able to be reached on Facebook.
Yes.
A big question I always get, and I know we're going to get questions, so let's just answer this question.
Right.
How do I know if I can reach my particular prospects on Facebook?
So for the most part, I'll say this. It's a lot like if you can reach them on television, with a few caveats.
Okay.
What is the likelihood that you would spend a lot of money on TV ads just to only reach, 100 top executives, in Fortune 500? Like, would you really do that? Probably not. So it's the same exact concept with Facebook. Like, could you potentially reach them? Maybe. Hopefully they're not wasting time on Facebook, but like it'd be a waste of time and money to try and go after an extremely niche audience on Facebook. If you have more of a generalized market, then you're going to be able to reach them.
That's a brilliant. I've never heard anyone make that analogy before. So it is kind of like television, right? So it's kind of like television, but you can niche it more than that. But what you're saying is, if you're going to go after the tightest market, it's probably not going to pay for itself.
Exactly.
And you might as well, like, for example, go to LinkedIn and direct message people, and things like that, or hell, get on I'm looking for a telephone. I don't know why, like, Yeah. Uh, I'll do the universal telephone thing here, and do it that way, right? But if you've got a general market, right? So like a consumer market, that would work good, or a specific type of business market, that'll work fine. But if you're trying to target
Elite people, probably not.
probably not. Okay, great. All right. Now, the other thing is, you mentioned this to me when we were doing our planning this training here today, is a really good sign is if there are competitors doing it. Talk
Yes.
about that a little bit.
Well, and this is one of the ways to figure out if you're selling to a hungry market or not, too. This is honestly getting feedback by looking at competitors and what they're doing online, um, is one of the easiest ways to figure out if your strategy is good or not. People often, I don't know, exactly what everyone on this call is thinking about competition, but competition is good. It's better to have competition than no competition, because if there's fish, then people are going to be fishing. So if you're seeing other people, advertising on Facebook for the same things that you sell, then you know that you can reach people on Facebook in your market.
Now, let me ask you, let me just play devil's advocate here. Um, let's say that I'm in a niche, though, that my niche is just freaking the people are really lame in it. I mean, honestly, right? Or they're pulling back and they're not. Does it necessarily, if I don't have, and I don't know the answer. I'm asking the question. I'm not trying to lead you in any
Sure.
direction. If I don't have any competence, so for example, if I'm a chiropractor and I figure it out, for example, uh, the odds of other chiropractors advertising right now are slim. Now, by the way, I know some chiropractors who have figured this out and what they're doing, right?
Mm.
Does that mean, is that a total disqualifier
Oh no,
if there
sir.
is no competition?
I mean, no, not right this second. Now you do have to have a winning strategy. I'm not even so sure what the people are doing. But the thing is like this is going to blow over. And it's better for you, even if you don't implement ads right away, it's better for you to understand what to do when people are out and about shopping and going to physical locations again. There's no reason to judge based on just today, like literally March 25th,
Okay,
26th.
gotcha.
Don't look at that.
Gotcha. Perfect. Perfect. I want to make sure everyone understands the fundamentals. So just review them. Number one, you've got to be able to reach them on Facebook to do what we're going to talk about here today. Number two, you've got to have at least 50 customers or leads. And if you don't, then that's a whole different conversation. Number three, you want to have a hungry crowd or a starving crowd, as Gary Halbert would say. And ideally, they have a problem that they need to have solved. We're just laying out the truth here for you, okay?
Yeah.
Or you need to frame it so that they know that they're like, I am hungry for this thing, and I do need this thing. So does everyone understand the fundamentals of what we just talked about? If you understand the fundamentals, type the letter Y into the text chat. If you don't understand the fundamentals, then please ask a question. Okay. Okay, good. So
Awesome.
everyone's got that. Yes, this is gold. Thank you for sharing. You're very, very welcome. You're very, very welcome. Okay, we've got more gold. This is just the foundational, but we have to lay the foundation before wait till you see what we have planned for you. I mean, um, okay. All right. You guys are very welcome. Good. We're getting a lot of great feedback. So, Sam, because this is not a sales webinar, and you typically, just so you guys know, at a sales webinar, you answer questions at the end, right? I want to go to see, because I don't want to move on if there's questions, if people don't understand something right now. So I'm going to go to the questions. So Kim says, what about a business that can't upload to Facebook because of legal reasons?
What business is that? So there are certain things you can't advertise on Facebook. I'll tell you that much. You can probably think of what those things are, but no, there are certain things, but what, yeah, that's one you can't advertise. Um, what, Kim, what business?
Yeah, so what business is it that so Kim says a law firm.
I'm legal stuff.
Well,
So
we're not, so first of all, I think we're going to have to kind of pass on that question. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because neither of us are attorneys,
Yeah.
right? So there are other strategies for reaching your clients. You can still do advertising on Facebook, right? For sure, for
Yes.
legal services. Okay. Um, so you just may not be able to upload your list into it. And I'm not sure if that's true of leads, if they're not your clients. I don't know the
Right.
answer to that. And I don't want to give out legal advice that we don't have the answer to.
Yeah. I don't know, but I do know that if you're a chiropractor, if you're a dentist, a financial advisor, a consultant, you can absolutely upload, your leads or customers to Facebook. So
Okay. Let's see here. We're starting, Jeffrey says, we're starting over from scratch. Will this work for us? Well, the particular system that we're going to go over here today, you really do need, but so again, there's no possible way in one webinar. Maybe we can do another one, Sam, at some point where we can teach you everything, right? We're teaching you a very particular system. And even if you're starting over from scratch, as long as you have access to a list, right? The
yeah.
thing that we're talking about here today will work for you. By the
Yes.
way, we're not saying that Facebook won't work for you if you don't have this list to upload. What we're saying is the system that we're going in depth today on you need a list, right? Am I right,
Yes.
Sam?
Yeah, exactly. Even if you're starting over from scratch, if you at least have a spreadsheet from your prior business or whatever, then this system today will still work for you.
Absolutely. Okay. So let me just make sure there are no other questions. No, this is not about re-engaging prospects or former clients. That's part of it. Okay. That's just part of it. That's the most fundamental thing to get started with. But that's not. This is about generating new leads as well. We just haven't got into it yet. Okay. So
Yeah,
this is
you'll be able to
absolutely
use
not.
parts of what we're talking about
Yeah.
to do that. You'll just have to take pieces of what we're about to share.
Right. Exactly. So yes, but this is about generating new leads.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. So let's see here. Let me see where I am on here. So everyone understands the fundamentals. And if you did type a Y into the chat box, it either means you're not paying attention, you don't care enough, or two, you've got questions. And if you're not asking your questions, don't know what to tell you. Okay. So before we get on to the actual system, we took on a client and into the better leads thing. So just if you could just do a little case study without revealing who it is, because we don't have his permission to reveal who it is. But by following the system, he's selling a financial type of product.
Yep.
Exactly what you did to get him the results that he got. And by the way, we're not promising these results to you if you follow this system. That's my legal disclaimer, right?
Yes.
This is simply a case study of one person who we worked with. And the reason we want to tell you this is so you understand that what you're about to learn can be very, very powerful for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a client who sells a financial services type of program, and he came to us and he, had been actually doing Facebook advertising for himself, but not fully understanding really the most important factors in the system we're about to go over with you guys. So because he, is not an expert in Facebook, he's an expert in his business, but not in Facebook advertising. He had success with his marketing, but then when he came to us, he had 2 weeks of no sales, which was bad, very bad, And so he came to us looking for help, looking for a solution. And what I did is I used one particular part of this system and implemented it. And, he went from 2 weeks of zero sales to then the new campaigns that I created for him brought $30,000 in the first 30 days of us working together.
Right. And we're going to, again, I want to emphasize that we're going to tell you exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can implement it. I mean, exactly what he did. So actually, Sam, I think people are probably excited about that. And again, we're not promising that under any circumstances, right? There's a lot of BS going on out there. We want to give you the nitty gritty, the good, the bad, answer your questions, see if it fits your particular situation. But Sam, let's get into this machine that will generate quality, high quality leads for folks. And by the way, we're talking about high quality leads, not just leads, but high quality leads. So let's start with what we're calling in this step 0,
Yeah.
okay? Because you can't do anything before this step. And the truth is, the reason we're calling it step 0 on the outline here is because we went through all of the steps, numbered them, and Sam's like, we forgot the most fundamental step, so let's call it step 0,
Yeah.
without having to renumber everything. So
Right. Exactly.
that's what we did. So Sam, let's start with step 0.
Yes. Sounds good. So step number 0 is we need to have a business manager account with Facebook created. Step -1, I'm sorry, but this just came to me, is if you don't have a Facebook page, you need to create a Facebook page.
Step
So
-1.
yes, you got to have a Facebook page, create a Facebook page for your business, then create a business manager page. And what you do to create that is you go to business.facebook.com, and that's where you can create the business manager account. And that's where you put in all your information, you connect your page to this account. You
And
create,
again, it shows you how to do it step by step.
yeah, they make it easy.
Yeah. So again, so what's the URL again?
It's business.facebook.com.
Right. And I'm only going to say it one more time because we've got some new people on. We're not going to go and we're not going to take the time to go through and show you the page, and because just
Yeah,
there's plenty of tutorial videos. And honestly, for that piece, if you just go there and follow the prompts, you'll get it set up.
exactly.
All right. We want to give you, here's what you need to do. And then there's, like I said, Facebook's got plenty of tutorials on actually how to do it. Okay. Because we would be here. I mean, it would be a course, like a full course. Okay. So Facebook is just, so the first step, you got to have a Facebook page, you got a Facebook business page, and then you've got to start a Facebook business manager account. That's step 0, right? So now that we've got that set up, Sam, let's go to the next step. And again, if you've got questions on the step, ask them in the Q&A. That's why we're doing this live and didn't pre-record it. Okay,
Yep.
Sam?
So the next step, step number 1, is actually to create a lookalike audience. And so I'll talk about what that is and how you do that. So we already discussed how to upload existing leads and or previous customers to Facebook, creating a custom audience. Remember, that's what it's called, a custom audience of your existing people that you upload then in a spreadsheet to Facebook. Then you create a lookalike audience. That's step number 1 in the system. So what that means, for any of you who don't know what that means, is you are giving, your 50 plus, names, emails, phone numbers to Facebook so that it can then match those people to their Facebook profiles so that you can advertise to them. When you then tell Facebook, okay, make a lookalike audience out of this custom audience, Facebook then analyzes all of the Facebook profiles in whatever country you're doing this in. So if this is just the United States, this audience will be just US, and it will look at the 280 million people that have Facebook profiles, and it will analyze all of them, and it will give you the 1% of the entire population of people in the US with Facebook profiles, the top 1% that are most similar to your previous customers and leads. It will create an audience of those 1% most similar to your previous customers and leads. If you don't understand why that's incredible, let me explain. Facebook knows everything about you. Facebook knows everything about your customers. Facebook has millions, billions of data points. And so it's extremely powerful to not have to guess at how to find your audience by creating a lookalike, because it is analyzing everything about them and giving you a list of about, again, it's 1% of the US population of people with Facebook profiles. So your lookalike will probably be between 1.1 and 1.3 million people.
Okay. All right. So because I know that I would want this clarification, and the folks on here are probably smarter than me when it comes to stuff, but I'm going to give the clarification anyway. So the first thing that we taught you to do at the very beginning of this training was to take your list upload it to Facebook, and create a custom audience. And then the first step was to do ads just to that custom audience. Now that we've got the custom audience, now you're going to say to Facebook, okay, here's my audience, right? Now I want you to create an audience that looks like this audience, that matches the same kind of demographics, psychographics that this
Yes,
audience has. Is that correct?
exactly. Now, one clarification I want to make, just in case anybody here is confused. I know that there's people on here that have geographically limited businesses. So you have, an office, whatever. Then I know I said the audience will be 1.1 million people. That's across the entire United States. But you can then, when you're setting up your ads, say, in this audience, I only want the people in my area. So it's going to be smaller, of course. I don't know what that number will be for you, but that's how you go about only advertising to your geographic area. Just so you know.
Gotcha. Okay, so step number one is to create this lookalike audience. You've already uploaded the custom audience. It's the first thing that we taught you to do. And then create the lookalike audience, and then now we've got our audience. Right? In either case, we've got our audience. Even if we're just doing the custom audience and advertising to that, we need to create an ad. And you are adamant about that it has to be or it should be a video ad. And
Yes.
before we get into exactly how to create a video ad and all the elements that make it up, why? Why a video ad? Because as you know, I'm a text guy, but if for anyone who's following me, you see I'm doing a shit ton more videos, right? Like every day. And it's because of this dude here. So Sam, why can't I just type stuff anymore?
Well, there's two major reasons. The first major reason is because the internet is going towards video. By 2021, 80% of the people online are going to be watching videos. 80% of the time of people on the internet will be people watching videos. So that's the most powerful reason, because you don't want to swim against the current. You want to be swimming with the current, and you need to be where, you need to be in a place for people to see you. The second most important reason is that it builds rapport. It helps people to get to know you, like you, and trust you by actually seeing your face, by hearing your voice, looking in your eyes. I mean, this is the psychological stuff that happens when people see you on video. And it commands authority. You can also, in your video, you can also have testimonials spliced in. You can show testimonials. You can show proof of your results. There's endless reasons for why video is the kind of ad you want to run on Facebook.
And I think one of the things that people have trouble with is they're like, well, I don't look good on video. I don't sound good on video, so on and so forth. I don't have that problem, by the way. you know what I'm saying there, Sam. No, but seriously, the fact is that isn't it true that the more human that somebody is, the more natural, like
Yes.
you're not trying to be Joe.
Right. Don't do that.
Right. Okay. Right. Just be yourself. Right. It's the same as presenting. Right. When you try to act like somebody you're not, that's when you run into trouble. When you're just yourself, that's where the connection comes in. All right. So we know the video ad. Now let's get into the actual structure of what needs to be in the video ad. All right. And we'll go through the structure, Sam, and then we'll show one of my video ads that we created. Okay. So people can understand what we're talking about here. But let's go over the structure. Again, guys, if you've got questions, ask them into the Q&A. All right. Put them into the Q&A and we will get to your questions, I promise you. Okay, so Sam, let's go over the structure of what makes a quality video ad that's going to get eyeballs and going to get people engaged and to take action.
Absolutely. So just an important bird's eye view of a video ad. Yes, you have the video portion of your ad on Facebook, but you also have text. So there is a text above the ad, which is like if any of you guys have Facebook, you know that normal posts, if somebody posts a picture or video, they have text that they wrote above that media. And then in an ad, there's also a headline, but it's below the video. just so you know. And again, I will point all of these elements out when we look at Dave's ad. But the important thing I'm trying to say here is the script you use for your video ad is actually the same exact text that you want above the video. It can literally be the same thing. So while you're scripting out your video ad, you're going to use it for what you're saying in your video, but you're also going to have it be the text above your video, just so you know. So the first element of your script needs to be calling out and identifying your target audience. Now there's another element to this as well. So you could be calling out your local area. If you're, targeting a specific area, you can be calling out, whatever qualifier that your market would respond to. And just a little bit of an advanced strategy here. If you can have a pattern interrupt while identifying them, it'll work even better because people are scrolling through Facebook, right? And that's how they're going to see you. So if you can call them out, identify them, and also interrupt their pattern by having something that engages them, and there's a lot of ways to do that. I know Dave is a master at this. Then that's the first step in the video ad. Here, let's just see here. I've got my notes. So the next step in your script is you want to talk about the main pain points that your market has. And this is just overall, and it has to do with this point, people's attention spans are short. You don't need to write an insanely long ad. Especially if they don't know you, why should they commit time and energy into reading paragraphs and paragraphs? They don't know who you are. So the overall strategy is to be blunt, to be to the point. And this is actually just a copywriting tip. You want to have the least amount of words in your sentences as possible on Facebook. You want to make it easy to read. Don't have run-on sentences. Don't make it super long. Don't make it super wordy. Be blunt, to the point, and talk about their main pain points, because that's how you're going to interrupt their pattern, get them to stop scrolling and read your ad. So that's major. And you got to talk about how you solve their pain points. How do you solve their problems? What service do you offer? How can you help them? And be very blunt and to the point about it. You got to talk about what makes you unique, what makes you special as the service provider, as the entrepreneur serving your market. What is your unique selling proposition? You can in text communicate that. The next thing
you keep saying in text, but you mean
in text,
in script,
and in your script for the video. Exactly. And talk about the benefits of working with you. Be specific. Give tangible. What will you do here? What will you do here? That helps. And you have to adapt these parts of the video ad making process to your own business, but it all works. And if you can explain the process of what you're going to walk them through, whatever the next step is from the video ad, if you can explain and walk them through that process, the better. They'll be more prepared, understand exactly what the next step is, after clicking on your ad, which is what we want them to do. And to get them to click on your ad, we want you to have a call to action. So describe your call to action. What is the next step? Make it easy and simple for them to understand, and just tell them to do it.
Right. Now let's talk about the different calls to action. And there's one that is super exciting. But the first one is click, right? Click the button below this, click the link below this. This takes you to a web page. And in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about the elements that you need to have on that web page to make it work. The second is, to go to a website, right? But the third one is, and we're not going to get into depth about this because again, it'd be a complete other training. But Sam, talk about the chat box option, because remember, we talked about what's working right now is people want immediate response, right? They don't want to wait for stuff to be sent to them. So this chat box function is beautiful and exciting.
Yeah, this is extremely powerful. So I don't know how many of you know about this, but there's a technology called chatbots. And what that is, you have messages that you're sending people on Facebook, right? When you have a normal Facebook profile. A chatbot is like an email autoresponder. So you pre-program it to send messages to people that opt in to your chatbot. So you can literally have an ad that when they click on it, it actually doesn't take them to a website. It actually takes them to a message that opens up in their Facebook app of your chat bot messaging them. And you can then have more messages that you've pre-programmed to automatically send to them. And then you can actually send them to your website, to your funnel, to your calendar page to schedule an appointment. And you can keep following up with them via this chatbot.
Right, and which gets a huge open rate. But here's what's even super
Yes.
exciting about this, you guys. And again, Sam, correct me if I'm wrong. So someone clicks on the ad, it opens up the chat, right on Facebook. So they're staying in their same environment, which they know
Yes.
and they understand. You can then ask a series of qualifying questions that are pre-programmed in there. Now they don't know that they think that someone is typing to them. Dependent upon their answers, then Sam can't either the business owner or their executive assistant or whoever actually take over and start chatting live with them.
Yep, exactly. You can then jump
So think
in.
about that, you guys.
Yep. I want to just share a quick example because I have a relatively new client who he owns a gym in Ohio. And as you all know, like places are shut down right now. So he's got his gym, that was making money, but now it's closed. He can't have anybody come in. Well, thankfully for him, he had started a second business of actually selling people at-home workout programs. And now here's the strategy. This is what me and him have done is we just started, okay? And we have an ad. We have a lookalike audience. We're showing it to his lookalike audience and by the way, from people from his gym. He didn't have any customers yet for this new at-home workout selling program. We took his spreadsheet of leads and customers from his gym, uploaded them to Facebook, made a lookalike audience out of them because they're fitness people. And we have an ad. It then opens up in the chatbot, which then has messages that send them to a video sales page, which just helps them understand better like what the program is that he's selling them. And then from there, he jumps in the chat and actually starts communicating with them, asking them questions, selling them. And then the next step is he has them schedule a call with him. And they actually get on the phone with him and he sells them over the phone. And he just made his first $1,300 sale just the other day.
Yeah. So again, by the way, if you're an attorney listening to this, if you're a financial advisor listening to this, if you're anyone could take that exact strategy and use it. So Sam, let's just quickly show one of my ads because I want to keep this moving along here. I mean, again, we can make this into a 6-hour training, but if we can show, let's just show one of my ads and show how it works.
So we have this ad from January. And let's just take a look. So not attracting enough A-list clients. Bam. That is the attention grabber. That is the identifying pattern interrupt. So we know that only people that are interested in getting clients, that means that you have a business that's client-based. You're going to pay attention to this. Not attracting enough of them, that's your pain point, right? We have all these different things stuffed into this one little 5-word sentence right here. That's how we get them on. And this, of course, was promoting a live webinar that he was doing. And we can see this, and we've got,
Here are all the bullet points.
Right? Bullet points. Then we got the link to register for the webinar. And again, this isn't very long, right? Notice, it's got bullet points and stuff, but this is not a manifesto. So he wasn't telling you what he ate for breakfast, right? He's going over the benefits and what people are going to discover on the webinar and telling them point blank right here in this ad. And this particular webinar crushed it. So, and then he's got another call to action. It's very, and again, there's a video here, which we'll, look at in a second, but looking at the text, again, there's text above the video, which is what I was talking about. Then there's a headline below the video. This is like much bigger font and it's bold. So it's the perfected blueprint for selling services. Then they've got this learn more button, which they can click and that'll take them to the webinar registration page. And then here's Dave, handsome as ever, saying the same exact thing.
Basically the same exact thing that's in the Obviously, I like that color, because not when I'm wearing a jacket that's that color, and I'm wearing a shirt that's that color. All right. So again, that's how you construct this, guys. I mean, it's basically, by the way, that's the same email that went out to my list. So it served double duty, right? So I sent it out to my list, and we also used the same video to my list. It worked beautifully. Okay. So that's how you construct a video ad that actually sells. So notice it's video and text. So for you guys that are like me, that are like copywriting and text, you get to still do it. All right, so let's move on to step number 3 of this. And we're getting a lot of nice comments from folks who are saying this is great information. So
Excellent.
you guys are very welcome. So step number 3 is create a Facebook pixel. And when you say that, my eyes glaze over. So quickly explain what that is. Again, we're not going to teach you how to do it. Facebook will teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
Just tell it what it is. It's really not that difficult.
Yes. So you can go Google, how do I set up a Facebook pixel? It'll give you easy step-by-step instructions on how to do it and all that stuff. But a simple explanation for you right now, the Facebook pixel is a line of code that you have to install in your website, in your calendar page, everything that you have that somebody visits. Even if you're not advertising it, you want your pixel installed, because if you have an existing website, people are going there, then you can retarget people visiting your website already. You can retarget them on Facebook. So the pixel is a line of code you install on your site that tracks the activity of people on your site. And that allows you to also track, if somebody saw my ad, did they buy? Did they schedule a call? Well, if you have your pixel installed, you can measure all of that in the Facebook business dashboard.
Okay, gotcha. So set up your pixel. Again, Facebook will show you how to do it. Step 4 is set up conversion tracking. What does that mean?
So again, so what it is you've got your pixel installed now in your website, your funnel, your calendar page, all of that stuff. You now have to go into Facebook and you go to a tab that says Events Manager. You then click a button that says Create Custom Conversions. What that is that's conversion tracking. So you then have to, every website that basically somebody lands on after they've done an event you want them to do. So if somebody lands on a thank you page after opting in, that's a conversion event. So you want to tell Facebook, when somebody lands on this URL and you give them the URL, when somebody lands on this, that means they did this, they became a lead, or that means they booked a call, or that means they bought something.
Simple. Yeah. It's actually, like, you explained that well. I get it. So it's simple tracking, right? The conversion is the thing that you want them to do to record, so you know if it's working or not, right?
Exactly. You won't know if anything's working without properly installing the pixel and properly setting up conversion events.
Okay, but again, it sounds technical, but really go to Facebook, how to set up a pixel, you'll get it, and then just have your webmaster put it on your site. Then you go back to Facebook and you say, okay, this is the result that I'm looking to get, and then Facebook will tell you how many of those results you got, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Step number 5, getting eyeballs. So now we got to get people to see the ad. We kind of went over this a little bit already, but just briefly go through it again. So now we got to get people to see the ads.
Sure. So we've created our lookalike audience. That was really the first part of getting eyeballs. We then want to, while we're setting up our audience, so, okay, when you're creating a Facebook ad, first you create a campaign. Okay, then within that campaign, you have different ad sets, and each ad set is targeting, you only have multiple ad sets if you're targeting more than one audience. An ad set is basically where you tell it who you're targeting, your audience. So you pick your lookalike audience, and then if you need to, you then select the demographics. So if this person is divorced, pick that. If this person is married, pick that. If this person is between certain ages, pick that.
Or the location, like you talked about, right?
And the location. You select the location in the ad set while you're setting up the audience.
So can I just say something, Sam? So for the old timers, because again, now that I'm hearing this again, it's like so crystal clear and easy. So for the old timers out there like me, direct mail, right? Selects in direct mail. You pick the select when you're getting a mailing list. This is precisely the same thing. It's exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
You're saying, here is what I want if I'm sending out a mailing to somebody, I don't want to send out a mailing. If I'm going after divorced people, I don't want it to go to a single person, right? If I'm sending a direct mail piece, I'm not going to, and I've got a local business. I'm not going to, in Atlanta, I don't want my mail piece to go to someone in California. That's all this is.
Yes. And it's easy. And it's way cheaper than
It,
direct mail. I'll just tell you
yeah,
one quick story. I've got a guy that does real estate land deals. He buys vacant land. And before he hired, me, he was doing direct mail. That's the normal go-to that everyone in real estate talks about. And it does work, but it's expensive. So his cost per lead doing direct mail was $53. Then he had me do exactly the system that we're talking about. We made a video ad. We had text above the ad that was the same as the video in the script. We had a very specific audience. And his cost per lead went from $53 per lead with direct mail to $12 per lead with Facebook.
right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I got off track there because it just hit me what this actually is. Yeah.
He's
So
learning.
okay, so we've got the demographic, and then it set a budget.
Yes. So you set a budget, and I would recommend that you do something between $20 and $50 a day to start. Again, start with whatever you're comfortable with, whatever seems best to you. Start small, because again, there are limits to what you can do, especially if you're in a tight geographic area. You don't want to spend $1,000 a day, like, unless you are running for council or something. I don't know, like, but you want to start small. Start $20 to $50 a day as your budget. And a very, very important note that's going to help you guys in the future, if you decide, hey, I like the results I'm getting at $25 a day, I want to ramp this marketing up. Here's the rule of thumb. People screw this up all the time. Here's how you not screw this up. You can only increase your Facebook budget once you have it set and it's been running for a little while. You can only increase the budget by 20% every 3 days. Otherwise, if you scale it up, if you're spending $25 and then the next day you scale it up to $50, you're going to notice, like, if you were getting leads for $3 each, it's going to be like $7 or $8 each now that you increase the budget. The reason for this is because Facebook is a machine. It's not perfect, and it's always learning. Okay, just to keep it simple, increase your budget by 20% every 3 days, and you will see your results, your cost per lead, cost per acquisition stay roughly the same. And that's how you don't screw it up. And I think, Dave, you have a point about that, don't you?
Yeah, and I do. When we were talking about this, when we were planning this, and we spent a lot of time, as you can probably tell, putting this together for you guys. I'm like, well, that's exactly what legendary Gary Halbert taught. He says, so let's say that you have a mailing list and the entire list is 100,000, right? And you're going to do a test of 5,000. You never roll it out. You never roll out because your test of 5,000 worked. You never roll out to the complete 100,000. The next time, maybe you do 10,000. And then maybe the next time you do 20,000 more, but you're just increasing it a little bit along the way. So it's exactly the same thing. Okay, so we set our budget. Step number 6, which is really the final step in the process. Then we'll talk about, because we got a lot of questions here. Then we'll talk about what needs to be on the actual website to make it work. But let's just finish up with step 6 of Facebook.
Yeah. So this is slightly more advanced. And again, even if you're currently doing Facebook ads, I guarantee you, more than likely, you're probably not doing this, and probably your results are suffering for it. So just to circle back around to close that loop about our client, that we helped go from 0 sales for 2 weeks to, $30,000 the first 30 days working with us from our campaigns that we created. So the key is, once you get 50 leads from your Facebook ads, 50, that's the magic number. Once you get 50 leads, no matter how long that takes, I don't care if it's 1 week that happens or it's a month. Once you get 50 leads from your initial setting up of Facebook ads, if you have more than 50, what you then do is you have your campaign that you initially created. You duplicate the campaign. You initially set it up. You initially set it up as a traffic campaign. That's how you have to set up your first campaign with Facebook. You set it up optimizing for traffic. Once you've gotten more than 50 leads, you then have to duplicate the campaign and you say, instead of optimizing for traffic, Facebook, I want you to optimize for conversions. And again, you can Google how to do this, and you'll see images and videos of people doing this. It's not that hard, but it's crucial. And a lot of people that do Facebook ads do not know how to do this and don't even know they should.
Yeah.
And let me explain a little bit more, because this, again, emphasizes the sheer might of Facebook ads. And that is that they have data on everybody. And when you give it data, it becomes incredibly smart at knowing who to show ads to at the right time. I'm telling you that it knows about your Google searches. I'm telling you it knows what you're looking at on YouTube. I'm telling you that it knows what zip code you live in. It knows the wealth of your zip code. It knows everything. So that's the power, again, of doing a lookalike audience. To drive that point even further, again, this step number 6 of switching from a traffic campaign to a conversion campaign is that once you've gotten 50 leads or 50 sales, it's got to be 50 that have done your conversion event.
Whatever your conversion event is. So if your conversion event is for them to book a consultation, a meeting with you, you get 50 of those.
Yes.
Right. So it's not necessarily the sale. It's the whatever your conversion event is.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. So once you've gotten 50, you duplicate your initial campaign. You tell Facebook, I don't want to optimize for traffic. I want to optimize for conversions. Then this is in your ad set. Then once you set up a conversion campaign, you then have to tell Facebook which conversion event you're optimizing for. So if it was for leads, if it was for consultations, if it was sales, then do that. So you then tell Facebook, I want more of this event. Your cost per lead, cost per acquisition will drop. It will shrink overnight. Your results will skyrocket. You will get higher quality people. This is what I did for this client that went from not knowing why he wasn't getting sales for 2 weeks to bam, he's getting sales again. It's because he wasn't properly telling Facebook to optimize for this data.
Right, because again, I keep using the direct mail analogy. It's the difference between mailing to a lead of just a list, or mailing to a list of buyers of something very similar to you. It's the exact same thing.
Exactly.
Right, and so all you're doing is you're telling Facebook, now I want to show my ad to people who are like the people who bought or who booked a consultation, which means you're going to get better results at a lower cost.
And right? I have to tell you this is just really crazy. It's exactly what you just said. It's targeting buyers, because Facebook also knows that the people that you're targeting, it actually knows whether or not they become leads for other people and whether or not they've bought things from other people, because other people are advertising on Facebook. So you are now tapping into the buyers.
Yeah, it's huge. Okay. So that's how you set it up. Okay. Now the next thing is, okay, people are coming to the website. If we're not doing the chat, let's just briefly go over the elements that need to be on your landing page so that you're really maximizing the value of the money that you're spending on marketing.
Yeah, for sure. So it needs to be simple. Ugly and simple and to the point outperforms beautiful and fancy. We all know that, right? And that's tried and true. If it makes sense, you may want to have another video that further explains what you're selling, what you're getting them to do. Again, you can follow Dave Scripps. He's a genius at what he does. You want to have a form on your page that allows people to contact you, that allows people to schedule a consultation, that just gives their info to you. The elements on the form will differ depending on what action you're trying to get people to do. You want to have, definitely get their phone number and or have your phone number on the page. But you definitely want to collect their phone number if possible. And again, you want it to be easy to read, especially on mobile. You need your page.
Simple is better, guys. Simple is better. Make sure you have your phone number, and then make sure you tell people how to respond. Yeah. Right. Make sure you have your phone number on there in case they want to call you. I mean, it's so annoying for people, right? And sometimes a video, if they saw a video, to have another video that says, hey, welcome, here, then you can explain your story a little bit further, qualify them a little bit more. But those are the elements, right? Clean page, easy to read, not complicated, easy way for people to do whatever you want them to do. I mean, That's it. When you not a bunch of external links and all of that kind of stuff. Very focused, very, very focused.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about a ton of stuff here. We talked about what's working now, what's not working. We talked about the fastest and easiest way to generate leads, which is inside your own list. We've talked about specifics like details about how to set all of this up. We've shown some video. We showed one of my video ads. We talked about how to create video ads and on and on. We've got a bunch of questions here from folks. But before we get to the questions, we've got people who we just got a chat message. Somebody says, well, email me. I want to set up a call with you guys to get this done. That's not the way that this works. Okay. So we're not going to be emailing anybody. So let's just briefly talk about the Better Leads division thing that we have here. We're going to do this really quickly because the truth is it's not going to be for most of you. So Sam, just basically go over the qualifications before we even give out, how they apply. And you do have to fit all these qualifications. Again, we're not trying to build a big agency here. We're very, very, very boutique because we truly only want to work with people who we can help or who we believe that we can help. Right.
Exactly.
So Sam, just really quickly, because we've got like 20 questions that I want to get to.
Yeah, for sure. So the criteria that we need somebody to meet to be able to work with us and for us to know we can help you succeed is number one, you have to have a spreadsheet. You have to have a list of 50 or more customers or leads. Even if you're starting from scratch, you need to have that information. It's too difficult for us to get you results quickly without a database of previous customers and leads. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need to be clear on your sales message. You need to be clear on why people will want to buy from you. You need to be clear on how you're going to frame your business as a need and less of a want. How are you going to help people fill their needs? Because if you're not clear on your sales message, I'm not clear on your sales message. And I can't help you advertise something you don't know how to sell or you're not sure what to do. If you're trying to do something totally brand new, unproven, not a proven offer, I can't help you. So that's huge. You've got to have an offer that converts. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you should have a starving market. That's huge. A hungry crowd. Another big thing is you have to be willing to communicate with people. If you're not willing, especially in just this current time that's, there's a lot of uncertainty. If you want to create certainty for yourself, you need to be willing to work hard enough to communicate, pick up the phone, message these people via Messenger, get them on the phone and sell them. If you're going to try to outsource all of your sales to static pages and stuff like that, this isn't for you. We'll talk about potentially, if you qualify, we'll talk about what your funnel may or may not look like, but you've got to be willing to put in the effort to stand above the crowd in this current climate.
Yeah. And be willing to do what we tell you to do.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you're going to start screwing around and with the system that we know works, if you meet this criteria, we're pretty confident that it'll work. And if you're going to be a pain in the ass, I mean, honestly, then it's not going to be a good fit.
No.
So I want to let everybody know what the investment is, Sam, before we give out the URL for people if they're interested. By the way, you're not under any obligation at all. You can set up a call with Sam. It's about a 15-minute call, right?
Yeah.
And it's really to see if we can help you or not, and if you're going to be a good fit for us or not, and vice versa. That's what it is. So let's talk about what the investment is in case somebody is interested and they do meet the criteria. Please don't schedule a consultation if you don't meet that criteria that Sam just laid out.
Sure. So normally something like this, a lot of agencies, will cost multiple thousands of dollars per month. You go look at agencies that will do Facebook ads for you. You're going to find some very expensive options. I'm sure they're good. I can't vouch for any of them in particular, but you're going to see people charging anywhere from $3,000 a month $2,500 a month, $2,000 a month, $1,500 a month. That's not what this is actually. So we figured out ways to systematize what we're doing to make this a lot more affordable than a lot of other options. It's not cheap, but it's actually a lot better than a lot of other pricing that you'll find out there.
Yeah, well, the reason that we could, and we'll give you what it is, but I just want to interrupt for a second. The reason we could do this is because we're only taking people that meet this criteria.
Exactly.
Right? That's why I was saying by boutique. And so we have it systematized. So we're like, okay, let's help the people who we know we could really help at a lower investment. So
Yes.
tell them what it is.
So the first month is $450. And that is to give you the confidence to be able to say, okay, I can get started with this and we can get you results in that first month. That way it's an easy price to handle. That's separate from your actual, Facebook budget ad cost. That's totally separate. That's our, price for doing all of this for you. And then ongoing, it's $950 per month.
$950 per month. So it's $450 to get started. Then it's $950 a month. And then what is like a minimum ad spend for somebody? I know it really depends upon their market, and you'll figure that out when you talk to them. But
Yeah.
what's like a minimum ad spend?
So minimum ad spend would be $500 or $750 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So you guys, if you're interested in that, I'm just going to put it in the chat. It's a very simple form you'll be taken to. You'll be able to, again, please don't schedule a call if you don't meet the criteria, but it's daved.com/leads. It's in the chat. Or you can just open up a new browser window and go to daved.com/chat. You'll be taken. Sam, you want to show them the page just so they can see where they're going to be going?
Sure.
And then we'll get to your questions.
So,
All right, I'm going to queue up the questions here while you're doing that. Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay.
yep. So here's the page. Let me just move this real quick. So just says schedule your call with Sam Bart. And all you have to do, and this will look different if you're on mobile, but this is on desktop. So all you have to do, you can see a description. You'll know that I will give you a phone call at the time of our appointment. And what you do is you just click on the date that you want to schedule a call. That'll open up the available times. Oh, let's just take a look. So if you just say 10 a.m., you could confirm it. And then there's some questions for you to fill out. Here, let me just show you. So give us your name and email, phone number, and just fill out some of these questions here so that we can be prepared for our call.
That's it. Okay. So if you guys are interested in that, check it out. Just go to the page. And again, if you meet the criteria, we'll talk to you. There's no obligation. But just for the record, this is not, I want to be clear. We're not one of these folks that are telling you, oh, this is a strategy call. Okay.
No.
And then they try to hammer you, right? It's not that at all. It isn't a strategy call. It's a call where Sam's going to look at the information. He's going to ask you some questions to see if it's a good fit. And then he'll say yeah or no, right? I mean, right? So that's how it works. It's about a 15-minute call. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's get to the questions here. And again, so if you're interested, it's daved.com/leads, daved.com/leads. Okay. So we've got a bunch of questions here, Sam. So let me go. Let's see here. Was the question is, was the person who we were doing selling his services or some kind of digital product? He's selling a service. Again, so he was selling, hey, you're going to get on a phone call with me. He was setting up consultations, talking about the case study that we went over. And then selling a very, very high-end financial product.
Yes.
Let's see. For losing connection, it must have been on your end because connection seems pretty solid here. I have an ads manager account on Facebook. Is that what you mean by a business manager account?
No, so they're actually different. So you still want to go through the step of go to business.facebook.com to create an actual business manager account, and you'll link your ad account to the business manager account. They're different things.
Okay, good. Can you give an example of a pattern interrupt? Sure, a pattern interrupt would be like showing something on the screen. That could be a pattern interrupt. The way that you use your voice can be a pattern interrupt, right? So anything like that. But I think that one of the greatest pattern interrupts is not something that's a trick which is really, hey, talking about what their problem is and that you have a different solution for them. So if you sound like everybody else, right, who they're seeing an ad from, well, first of all, most people aren't going to be doing the ads the way that you know how to do them, to be honest with you. So that's going to be a pattern interrupt in and of itself. But like, hey, so if you say something that's counterintuitive to what they've heard before, like, so there's a guy that's doing a great job on it. I don't know whether his product is worth it or good or not, but he's like, you don't need funnels, right? So he's selling, right? You don't need funnels. You just need a one-page website. Funnels are bullshit, kind of thing, right? Right? So it's a pattern interrupt. All right. Let's see. How long should the video ad should be? Hey, Ali, how are you doing? How long should the video ad be, Sam?
So anywhere from as short as 1 minute to as long as 4 minutes max. It's not, again, it's just trying to get attention. It's trying to be direct. It should be about as long as your text, because again, that's your script for what you were saying in the video ad.
Perfect. Okay. Is the chat drone in Facebook Messenger?
Is the chat drone?
Yeah, I'm not sure what
So
that
I know what he, yeah. So the chat bot. So
chat bot,
yes,
chat bot,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what it is. So it's actually, it's a bot, but it's in Messenger.
Okay. Let's see here. Can you please go over the lookalike audience again, what that is?
Sure. So a lookalike audience is when you've uploaded a custom audience to Facebook. You've uploaded a spreadsheet of previous leads and or customers. You then created a custom audience out of them, which you can Google how to do. And then you tell Facebook, I want to create a lookalike audience out of this custom audience. So then what Facebook does is it analyzes all of the people on Facebook in your country, and it gives you the top 1% of them that are most similar in characteristics to your original list.
Perfect. What is the best video app I should be using?
Video app. The camera app on your phone.
Yeah, that's it. So either I use the camera app on my phone, or I use my
Zoom.
webcam right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You can
And
record videos on your laptop from Zoom.
Yep, exactly. Or you could, if you've got a Mac, you can record it in QuickTime. I mean, don't make a big deal. It doesn't have to be. You don't need, like, you're in a studio. You don't need that. All right. More important is following the structure. Ray asks, can you please go over the qualification requirements for working with us on this again?
Sure. So number one is you have to have a spreadsheet of.
Let me say number one is that you're not going to be high maintenance. That's number one. No, I'm serious, dude.
Yeah.
Now listen, we know what we're doing here. Okay. If you meet the qualifications, and that's number one. Okay. So then you can continue.
Yes. So the next thing is you have to have a spreadsheet of previous leads and or customers, and it's got to be at least 50 people. You got to have at least 50 names and emails. If it's got more information, that's better. Like if you have 50 names, emails, and phone numbers, that's better. If you have 50 names, emails, phone numbers, and zip codes, that's even better. So you got to have a list. That's the first. That's another big criteria for you to be able to work with us and us to believe we can get you results. The next thing is, you have to be able to meet the budget. You have to be willing to, our fee plus 500 or 750 a month ish minimum for your ad spend on Facebook. That's huge. You've got to be clear on your sales message. You've got to know what your sales message is. You've got to have an offer that converts. You have to have made money before with what you're selling.
Right. Right. So we're not looking for because again, not that there's anything wrong with you starting up something new.
Right.
It's just that our boutique service is not right for that.
Exactly.
Because then we would have to charge, we're not doing it even for any price, but then we would have to charge a lot more money. You see, we have a system for people who meet these requirements.
Right.
Right. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm just telling you the truth. Honestly, if you go to other agencies, like real big agencies, they're going to charge you a lot more than this. The reason we can do what we're doing here is because you've got to fit into the system.
Yeah. And this system works. If you meet these criteria, this system works, point blank, period. So if I can get you results, it's, then it's not super high maintenance.
Right, exactly. Niles asks, my wife sells professional grade makeup directly. Oh, her primary sales tool has been doing Facebook Lives each week. In the last year, with all the changes by Facebook, her average audience numbers have dropped by over 60%. Well, yeah, because now Facebook is like, hey, we want to get paid, right? Right, for sure. Hence, she is looking for a new way to generate leads. She has over 700 current clients. Would she be someone who could help with your system?
I believe so. She meets the first criteria, which is she has 700 clients.
She knows what her message is. She's got a
Yeah.
target market. Best thing for you to do, so we can discuss it in more detail, would be set up a call.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't qualify to work with you on budget. Is it possible to do this? Redirect my list to Facebook myself? Yeah, that's what this whole thing was about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
hope that every person on this call, regardless of whether you meet the criteria or not, regardless of whether you work with me or not, I hope that you realize you can take what we talked about and use it for yourself. You can do this yourself.
Yeah, that's why we did this. That's why we went into such great detail. Absolutely, for sure. That's the whole point of this. Let's see here. Bill asks, how many months is a reasonable commitment?
How many months do you want to make money?
Yeah, well, but he's saying, like, I mean, how many months until he starts seeing, like, what's the minimum that somebody should do? That's a great question.
Sure. No, so, you should start seeing results the first month. I mean, you should start seeing something happening. You should start seeing leads coming in. The reason why I can't give you like this is exactly because you and me, if we work together, we have to collaborate on getting pieces of this done. You have to record the video. If you ghost on me and you don't record it, I can't guarantee you anything. If you don't finish your video ad, if you don't give me the pieces I need to build your funnel, then if you procrastinate on that, which that's another thing. If you're going to ghost on me and if you're too busy with other things, don't do this. I want to help you now, and I can get you results quickly if you collaborate with me now.
Yeah, that kind of goes into the pain in the ass factor. Yeah, and the other thing, the other thing that I wanted to mention to folks here, because again, we are not trying to build a big agency here.
No.
So the maximum number of new people we can take on, in my opinion, it's 5. Sam says 10. We'll see how that goes, right? I think 5, to be honest with you. So again, if you're interested in and you meet the criteria, set up a call with him and see if it's a fit. Because that's not a joke either. That's as many as we can handle. I mean, so we're talking boutique. Okay, it's just been recorded. Yeah, recorded this. I haven't made the decision about whether I'm going to do a replay, probably just because to help people out, because it's got so much good information in it. And there was a lot of information. So I'll probably put up the replay for a short period of time. All right, any other questions from anybody? Because we're almost at 90 minutes. If you've got a question, enter it in. Denise says, I appreciate all your efforts to help us all. You are very welcome, Denise.
Yes,
you're very welcome. That's what we're here for. I mean, obviously we want to make money too, but I think if, now's the time to be given more value than ever.
Yeah.
Because I'm an entrepreneur just like you guys, right? We're all in this together.
That's right.
All right. Don, you're very welcome. Don says, thanks, Dave and Sam. All right, everybody. That seems to be it. We don't have any more questions. It doesn't appear. Sam, I had a great time with you. Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge and giving so freely of your time here with everybody. And again, if you guys are interested and you meet the qualifications, set up a call with Sam. All you got to do is go to daved.com/leads. Thanks, my man.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Get back to work on my shit, man.
You bet.
All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.